So, hi friends, welcome to an interactive and very insightful session on careers and prospects in the world of digital marketing, media, advertising. My name is Dr. Samir Karkhanis, and this event is brought to you by the Wellinger Institute of Management postgraduate program in media and entertainment. This is an 11-month program, post graduation full time for people who want to make a career in advertising, branding, celebrity management, digital marketing, films, movies, in the management side. And in the same context, today we have a very, very interesting speaker, Mr. Milind Shah. He's from the Dan Consult, Densu Aegis Network. Milind is a thought leader in the space of digital transformation, business transformation, and he's going to give us very good insights today, not only from the agency point of view in terms of what trends are happening in the world of advertising and digital, but more so also from the point of view of how clients or the people who invest money in the world of marketing, advertising, transformation are going to be spending in the days to come. Because when people spend money, that is the time when we all get jobs and careers are created. So you need at one end the investors or the clients, and then there are the agencies who are going to implement what is there, and there is a big piece in between, which is the digital transformation or digital martech, AI, ML. You must have been hearing these words. So there is where Milind comes with that expertise. So Milind has a very terrific background on understanding how businesses should grow, how they should use technology as an enabler. He's been the sales head with the Cognizant consulting company. So he's worked across areas of companies, industries, profiles, and geographies. And today at Dan Consult, also he consults and guides various different kind of SMEs, MSMEs, the big, huge billion-dollar multinationals, the CEOs, CXOs, on how they should now go on the digital journey. With this as a background, welcome Milind to this session, and thank you very much for sharing your time and the thoughts which you are going to share now with us. This is a combination of students from Wellinger Institute, V School from the Media Entertainment program. For the existing batch, our prospective students who have already enrolled with us for the 2020 batch, there are faculty members, and there are a lot of our youngsters and media and non-media working professionals, fresh graduates from Mumbai University, from the BMM, BMS, BCom programs, who are here to listen to you, Milind. So welcome, Milind, once again, and we can start the session.
Yeah? Thank you, Samir. Thank you
I
for
will
the
help you to. Yeah. So I will help you to put your PPT up, and then we can start. Yes.
Sure. I hope I'm audible before we start, Samir.
Yes. Yes. Very much.
Thank you.
Perfect. So Milind, here it is. You can guide me and I'll change the slides.
Sure. So first of all, good evening to everyone. And thanks, Samir, for this exciting opportunity. I really look forward to talking with the students, faculties, prospective students, and very happy to be here. So we can go to slide number 2 if that's okay.
Yes. Here we go. Yeah.
So broadly, this is post-COVID, right? We are looking at a very, very large industry for media and entertainment, and it is expected that it will touch around $2.6 trillion, right? It growing at a pace of 5% every year. This is across the world. So we are really, it's a very, very large industry, media and entertainment, and it really is the future for a lot of things. However, the interesting part is while the industry is growing at 5%, the digital is growing at almost 60% of those revenues will be in digital. So for example, when you say in entertainment, OTT revenue is considered in digital. Even if you see the FANG list of companies, which is Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google, right? Out of them, 3 are, if you may say, more or less tilting towards entertainment as well. So Netflix is pure entertainment. So of the digital revenues, which are specifically to within the media and entertainment, are going to become 60% of the revenue. They were 40% in 2014, and in 2020, before COVID, they were expected to be 50%. So while the media industry is growing at 5 or 7%, the digital part of the media and entertainment industry is growing at much, much higher space, and it is exponentially rising. So businesses like OTT, businesses in digital marketing, businesses in online education, businesses which are purely related to streaming, YouTube are really, really increasing very fast. So that's the key message that I want to drive in the industry, drive here. Even post COVID, the future is not looking very dim. There is a lot of spending that is going to happen. People who are spending a lot of time at home will obviously need to be entertained. So the industry is only going to expand, right? And once the lockdown is over, we are assuming a lot of old activities that we were doing will also come back. So this is a very, very large industry that we are looking at. So those of you who are aspiring whether this is the right industry, the answer is clearly yes. This is the right industry to focus on. And as we move to a digital world, there would be a lot of different skills that would be required in this industry than what it was required 15 years back. So, I mean, those who are from my age, right? We had one Pranay Roy showing one news once a week, which was called World That Week or something like that. Now we have as many news channels as you can count. So world has changed, and the next 20 years will be very different as well. Maybe we won't have a TV at home, or maybe we won't have a cable at all, right? We will be only doing OTT, or we'll be only watching TV on digital. A lot of my friends now don't have a cable connections at their home. So it's going to change very, very fast, and it's going to be completely digital. But it is the right industry for a lot of you who are aspiring, and there are multiple things that can be done in this industry. So firstly, welcome to this world, and it's quite exciting times. Second slide, can we move forward?
Yeah.
Submit to the next slide.
Yeah, sure.
So let's come back to India, right? So when I say media, media is obviously the physical part of media, which is TV, movies, so on and so forth. But there is also a very big part of media, which is called advertising. Just look at the numbers, right? In 2019, the amount of money India spent on advertising was 68,000 crores. In 2022, we are expected to spend around 94,000 crores, which is 13.37 billion dollars, which is really, really large. Which is so at a CAGR level, the advertising industry is expected pre-COVID to grow at around 12%. However, what is the digital advertising industry going to grow at? Around 27%, which is almost double. And I'm assuming post-COVID, that would increase to even 30 to 35%. So the spends, right, which the large brands have done in advertising and in media have only increased. And people have realized that for our young people, right, we don't need to target you on TV, but we need to target you on your Instagram accounts, on your Facebook accounts, on your Google accounts, and whatever you do on internet prima facie, right? So that is going to grow very, very fast. This year, right, we were expecting that around 27% of 100 rupees that is being spent would be spent on digital. 14% would be spent on cinema. Post-COVID, that will go down to 3 or 4% right now. Television will be more or less the same. Out of home would be around 8 to 7%. And radio, people are still spending around 5%. Print, the old age, people used to spend a lot of advertising in Times of India and local newspapers. That is shrinking big time for advertising, right? So even most of us now read newspapers only online, or we get on WhatsApp that, I'm getting a newspaper, and that's a digital form of newspaper, right? But the spend on digital, even on print, is going to be very, very low. The point I'm making in this slide is for all the students and the faculty who will join on the call today, is that the focus is categorically going to move to digital even in advertising. So when I say, just to give you a very 101, when I say digital advertising, simple advertising on all the social tools like Facebook, Google, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, so on and so forth, right? This is only what big brands are spending. Now, if you really see small spends, which would be another 4,000-5,000 crores, we are looking at a 60,000 crore that is going to be spent by India only, which is around $8.25 billion. So this is really, really a lot of money that's going to be spent. And if this money is going to be spent, obviously people will require people who understand digital, and people who understand digital marketing, digital advertising, who understand different aspects of data. Because you can't just advertise saying that please go and advertise and let everyone look at my advertisement, right? There has to be understanding of data. So the reason I showed the first two slides is that this is a very, very large industry for anyone who's aspiring to be part of media and entertainment. Earlier, people thought that media and entertainment is only for people who are creative, people who want to do a lot of creative stuff, who want designing, who have a very less analytical mindset. Now that has completely changed, right? People from IT are now moving into media and entertainment. People from technology are moving into media and entertainment. People from pure businesses are moving into media and entertainment. So the point is, it's no longer about that if you are a creative person, you need to go into media and entertainment, or if you have some acting skills, you have to be in creative media and entertainment. It's completely changed now. There is a role for most of the technology, digital business people to also to move in media and entertainment, and there is a very large market to serve. Right, you don't need acting skills to grow in digital advertising. Right, you need very other skills. You don't need production skills to grow in digital advertising. So while there is a market for production, acting, creativity, so on and so forth, there is going to be a very huge market in media and entertainment for people who understand digital media and entertainment. So that brings me to my next slide. Samir, if we can move forward.
Yeah, I'll do that. One second. This one?
Yeah, and why do I say that? This is a slightly crowded slide. It's a small slide, but around 75,000 marketers were and CEOs were asked question that what is your business, which of the following pose a significant concern for 2020. Now you look at the 5 topics set, and I'll read it for you. The first topic, right? Attracting and retaining talent in digital and data. 23% of them feel that the biggest issue for us is that we are not able to attract the right talent, and this is for all the CEOs around the world, that for in the right digital area. So very interesting observation that that anyone who is planning to make a career in media and entertainment, it's a big ask for a lot of CEOs. Second concern, again about data. Third concern, before the COVID happened, they had fear of recession, which has not become a recession right now, but very close to numbers not happening. Fourth was again digital. Fifth was artificial intelligence, and sixth was how do I compete with Amazon and Netflix. Now, if you really see, where is all this coming to, right? All this is going to come to one single point, that any business which is media and entertainment for us is going to move to digital. And the biggest ask from all the CEOs, and there's around 75,000 CEOs, is that we want to attract and retain the best talent in digital, data, and consumer experience. And this is the data that was shared with me 3 months back, and it's still relevant, right? Even the moment this lockdown opens up, I would feel that the same challenges would remain with all the CEOs. So again, the first point we made is that media and entertainment is the right industry. There is a lot of scope for us to not only be creative, but also move into different areas. And the third one is that it is also the ask of the industry. Right? They need people who understand digital, people who understand data, people who understand how to compete with Amazon, people who understand AI. And I'll touch my next few slides on that.
Sure.
So moving to the next slide, Samir. So this is again a very interesting data. Again, I want to show it to you, right? This is the job listings in one part of the world. Let's assume this is India, and there were around 21,11,000 jobs published for low skill. When I say low skill, I'll say freshers, right? You just graduated from MBA school and or engineer, and then you are looking for a job advertisements, right? So around say 21 lakhs jobs were published. Middle skill, let's assume it is for people who are say 5 to 7 years of work ex and have done their MBA and so on and so forth. Then there are high skill, which is they are very specialist guys, like a AI engineer or a software Java developer kind of thing, and then or very senior people, right? Either of the two. And finally, overall jobs. So assuming there were 1 crore jobs which were posted on portals last year, out of them 94 lakh jobs, and this is very interesting, 77 lakh jobs, right, which is around 82% job descriptions had a requirement that what digital skills do you have. Okay, and if you really see, it was across all levels, right? Even if you were a fresher, in my time when I graduated, people used to ask me, do you know Excel? And now people are going to ask you whether you are a media professional, that do you know digital marketing? Do you know AI and ML? So that is what people are going to ask you, right? So even if you are at the first level, which is 77% of the jobs, they don't write in their job description that I want a fresher who's done his MBA from XYZ school or who's been an engineer, but they ask you for a question, and I'm sure Samir and his team and Wellinger is offering that opportunity to you to learn a lot of digital skills in this course as well. But 77% of those requirements had a ask of digital experience or digital learning that you have. And even at a high skill level, right, when you become a CEO or when you become a senior manager, the same number kept on increasing. So this is a very important data, that it's a universal requirement, right? It's not like it's like now saying, do you know English? People used to ask in the job descriptions that fluent at this language, right? Now people it will happen in the future that fluent at digital marketing, right? That would be a basic requirement. And this is very important for all of you who are thinking of taking an MBA course. That what is the career for me? The career is very, very bright, and at the same time you need to learn some of these skills as well, right? So this is a very important side. I thought I'll share some data with you.
Sure.
Samir sir, can we move to the next slide, please?
Yeah.
And just adding to that, right? Why should I do all this, right? Because you'll get paid more, right? This is just a number from UK. People who didn't have digital at the junior most level had a different package of 14%, right? So for example, that if you are getting a package of 10 lakh rupees and you have some digital skills at the fresher level, and if you have some digital skills, I will pay you 11.4 lakh rupees. But see the graph as it moves forward, right? If you move ahead, the difference is 35%, 33%, right? Now, that is because digital is not about one time. You need to keep on constantly learning, right? And just on the last slide, sorry, Samir, the last slide.
No, sorry. No, this one I think you should explain how just the input of digital is changing the entire remuneration,
Yeah, so broadly, so if you really see, there is again the low skill, middle skill, high skill, and all jobs, right? Low skill is basically saying that people are normally freshers. Again, middle skill is 5 to 7 years, and high skill is people who have 15 or 20 years of experience or a very specialist. Just by knowing a few, so let's take an example to Samir sir's question, that if you are applying for a marketing job and you understand 4 P's of marketing, right? The question would be that, do you know digital marketing? If you know digital marketing along with the concepts of marketing, then you obviously will be paid 14% minimum higher. There would be some roles which would be purely digital marketing roles, but assuming you apply as a marketing officer for a wire company, after doing your course, or you apply for a marketing manager in, say, Sony, if you understand digital, they will say, boss, I will give him 15% more premium at a fresher level, okay, while you hone it, right? So very, very important from a media perspective, right? Which is why we are here. I just wanted to show one data, right? 53% of the internet users watch videos on YouTube on a monthly basis, and there have been 72% people who watch videos. Now think from a media and entertainment perspective, right? You are into a movie business, but you need to understand how YouTube works. Okay, so if you put a trailer on a TV and you put a trailer on YouTube, you need to understand how a trailer in YouTube is looked at and how a trailer in a TV is looked at. So for example, I'm for students, right? There was a movie called Kalank, right? Just to give you one example. And Kalank, they had 4 names before the first thing came, that AJ Nadia, Karan Johar, 4 people present, Kalank, and the movie started. By the time the 4th production house name came, 60% of the YouTube users had logged off to watch the trailer itself. Now this is something that if you're digitally aligned, even in media, you would say that. And there was another movie, and because I'm putting a movie because I think a lot of students are there. There was another movie, Johnny Lever movie, I don't remember the name, Dhamal or something like that. They started with a trailer of Johnny Lever on YouTube, and they had some 500 million, 100 million likes in just 2 days. It's a skill that you'll have to understand, that even if you are in this business, right, how do you use some of these platforms to actually grow yourself? And from a video perspective, right? Most WhatsApp initially started as a messaging app, but now 50% of the audiences use WhatsApp to watch videos. So the point I'm making is having digital skills, even in media and entertainment industry, gives a high differential for you to start with. And you have to keep learning, right? And that is why the percentage keeps on growing up, right? So 33% is a very big gap. If I am a 15 years experienced person and Samir sir is also 15 years experience, but Samir sir has got more digital skills than me. If I'm making 100 rupees, he's making 133 rupees. Now that is a very, very big difference, or the same level of experience, right? So I would strongly suggest that this is something that this course would offer you, something that future courses will have as inculcated in your programs as well, right? So very important again. And this is pure data, right? This is not my number. This is pure data.
Move to the next slide.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
I think this is the last one.
We completed. Yeah.
And this. Yeah.
This is interesting.
Just one before that, Samir sir.
One before this. Yeah.
So broadly, the other thing that most of you have to realize, right, that there would be a heavy level of automation, right? Now with this COVID happening, there would be a lot of people who would not be going to offices, and a lot of jobs will get automated, right? So for example, in our world, right, the job of media planner can get automated because everything is being advertised on Google. Now there is a probability that all jobs, right, will get automated up to 71% level. But if you are specifically learning something in digital, right, the level of automation and the level of replacement of those jobs will be much lesser than what will get automated. Yes. So again, coming back to the same point, that if you have digital skills, right, you avoid the risk of your job being automated. You cannot automate, which is anyways you have learned automation, right? So if you know digital marketing, just for an example, there is no risk of you being automated. But if you are learning something which is very physical, right, that I am making an Excel sheet and I am making numbers, now that can be automated and you don't need a human for that. So if a lot of students who are into this business, they should learn a word called RPA. RPA stands for robotic process automation. And the biggest risk of RPA is that a lot of human jobs will get replaced in across industry, whether it's media, whether it's entertainment, whether it is finance, whether it is HR. But if you are in the digital domain, and if you understand that while I know my skill of marketing as a business or media as a business, but I also know digital out of it, the level of automation risk keeps on reducing every time. So again, the point I'm trying to make is media plus entertainment plus digital is the future for a lot of us, right? Let's move to the next, please.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we covered this. Yeah. So what is happening now, and what I should do, right? So I will cover the next two slides in that topic. And so businesses pre-COVID in media entertainment, right? Movies, production, theaters, right? Will they start? Obviously, they will start. How long, how fast shooting will happen, we don't know. If you really see, you are watching all the repeat shows because there is no inventory left with anyone, right? On TVs or movies or OTT players as well. There is no shooting happening at all. However, OTT is the business to be in, right? All of us in the last 2 months have watched almost every serial on Netflix or on Sony Live or on Voot or whatever, right? What is the career for me? The career for me is many things within that, right? So if I'm in the digital media business, the career for me is content management. I don't know if every one of you understand content management, but how do I put the right content at the right time so people get interested in, right? You only click on the next ad when you feel the content is very, very exciting. Second is, how do I monetize the platforms, right? So these guys are not running Netflix for free, right? You get this skip ad in every Netflix or YouTube that is being paid for. There is a proper science on how to monetize platforms. Now that's a career you should be looking at, right? That if I work on OTT as a business, and if I work on career that I'm specializing on understanding how to monetize platforms and how to bring more and more advertisements and media to OTT, then I'm actually building my career in a very different way, right? Second business, event management, large events. A lot of people here, want to make a career in event management. Very good career pre-COVID, right? Where social distancing was not a challenge that time. However, for the next 1 year, it's going to be a big challenge, right? To become an event manager, but you can't if you have to follow social distancing, events will not happen for a long time, right? What will happen is 100% people want to talk with each other like we are talking today. So there will be a lot of webinars, there will be a lot of online events. To do and run these events on a large scale, again, you need to understand how content works, what sells and what engages people to be on the call for an hour, right? I'm speaking here, but someone would have switched off his video, someone would have switched off his audio, But if you have the right content and you understand how to publish the right content, there is a huge career that can be built around that, right? Third is advertising business and out of home business and media business. Very, very big business, right? Which we call it an agency business. But the agency business was built on a lot of media being sold physically. What is now going to happen is all the money that is being spent on TV. So, for example, if I'm paying Ayushman Khurrana as my brand ambassador for whatever 20 crore rupees, I would give that money more to Google and Facebook to do media on digital only. So that essentially tells me that there is a future for digital marketing big, right? Because all the money now is going to shift to the digital media and not to the physical media, right? I don't need every time a Ranbir Kapoor to sell a Pepsi to me. Maybe when I'm watching a movie, I need a Pepsi ad to come on Netflix, right? So that is the very fundamental basics of digital marketing, and it can go very, very deep, right? And that is obviously, in my view, one of the best skills that you should acquire now. While digital marketing be very, very simple, it can be also very, very deep. Fourth is, in our industry, media and entertainment doesn't survive without marketing, right? Now, marketing was based on intuition and based on what I feel I wanted to target, right? What is the future of marketing? It's completely data driven. So just to give you an example, what do you mean by data driven is that you are an insurance company and you put on Facebook that I like Yahoo, I got a kid. Okay, then obviously as a marketing person, you are the best person to buy a child plan from me, right? So you guys must have seen whenever you put something which is very, very specific to your personal life, you get an ad which is relevant to that, right? So if I say that I got a child, in 2 minutes you get an ad from an insurance company saying that why don't you buy this child plan? What is exactly happening there, right? People are actually trying to drive. They are not. One is they are trying to collect your information, whether right or wrong. That's a separate question. But they are trying to make sure that this sale happens. Okay, so if I don't have a child and if you tell me that buy a child plan, obviously I'm not interested in. But when I go to Facebook and say, look, I got a child and he's very cute, obviously I know that you will be the first person to target to buy an insurance plan for the children. So what is happening in marketing is clearly it's going to happen in two things, right? Which my manager tells me is pipe and personalization. So pipe is basically everything that will be driven through technology and everything will be personalized. What skills you need? How do you know that you pushed something on Facebook, right? You need to be a data scientist. Now I can put something in Hindi. Arey mujhe bachcha hua, bahut maza aaya. I can put something in Gujarati. I can put something in some other language. I can just say yippee. Now there needs to be a logical way of converting those unstructured data to a structured data and then running my marketing around or advertising around that, right? So there will be a lot of requirements of data scientists and data developers. In fact, data science is called the future of business now, because while we know how to look at structured data in Excel, but there is a lot of unstructured data that is lying around in the world, right? And how do I convert that into cognitive business? So the way we communicate is not structured, right? I speak whatever I want to. I sometimes mingle Hindi, whatever I want to, right? The way I've been brought up. So there is a big future for data scientists going forward. There is a big future for data developers, right? Because there will be a lot of businesses within media and entertainment which will be data driven. So one of the classic business in media and entertainment which is completely data driven is what is Netflix. Netflix sees what you watched and then it tells you, because you watched this, I think you like this. Okay, in fact it shows a very different screen for me who has watched Games of Thrones. It shows me very different thing than Samir who might have watched Asur, whatever, right? Something else. It will show it is a completely data driven platform. Everyone has a separate Netflix recommendations coming, and that is going to be the future for entertainment as well, right? Everyone is going to think on that lines, that what do you watch more. And now if you are watching Game of Thrones, you probably are not going to buy a low brand product, right? You probably would buy a very high-end product. So then the marketers will say, look, in this entertainment business, Netflix is doing very well, and Samir is watching Game of Thrones every time, or Milind is watching Game of Thrones every time. He's a high-end customer. We will only sell a Rolex to him. We will not sell him a ITC ATA. Now the point I'm making, see how the whole chain is moving in our industry, right? And how it will move everywhere as well. And finally, what is media and entertainment, right? It's part of consumer journey. Consumer journey of watching movies, going to theaters, going to events, going to advertising, doing media. We are all part of a very big thing called consumerism, right? Old days, there was a saying that you go to a retail store, and if a father goes to a retail store, you put two things together. You put a diaper and a beer together. In US, the father goes to buy grocery for his child and his family once a week, or sometimes the mother doesn't go but the father goes. But they used to put a beer and a diaper together, because when he buys diaper, he will also buy a beer normally. So in US, it's a very common concept. It's called a diaper beer concept. That was thinking as far as physical consumerism is concerned. Now you put the same thing in digital consumerism. Will you put a diaper and a beer ad together? Never. It will never happen, right? I have seen on Times of India that there has been a terrorist attack, and next to it there has been an ad, come to our our program and have fun. Now that is not correct, right? There is on one side I'm reading something very, very negative. On next to it you put an ad which is saying come and have fun. So the way a consumer will think on digital is going to be very, very different from you think in a physical world, right? And specifically for a media and entertainment, right? This becomes critical for us, that I understand consumers in the digital world of how they will consume media and how they will consume entertainment. If I understand that, then what will I need, right? I will need something very close to an e-commerce expertise, right? Or marketplaces saying that, look, what has Amazon been successful, right? It has been successful in understanding how consumers think on digital channels, right? So even those kind of skills, like if you go to an OTT player, he will normally hire people from Amazon and Flipkart. Why would they do it, right? Flipkart is a retail company, and Suniliv is an OTT company. The point is both are in the business of platforms, right? And both understand how platforms work. So they want to acquire people from who understand platforms. So again, pre-COVID and post-COVID, the reason I just put it this morning, that the skills are the same, but it's just with a tinge of difference. And if you do the right courses, the potential is very, very high for a lot of us, right? And none of these skills, from content management to digital marketing to e-commerce expertise, I don't think the people have been laid off who are good at this. People have normally who've been hurt the most are people who are doing physical work, right? Because people have realized that maybe they are not required, and we need to automate a lot of things. So super relevant even post-COVID as well. So next slide.
Yeah. Milind, I would like you to stay on this slide. You can know
Yeah.
this is very critical from the student's point of view, and I'm seeing the questions in Q&A and in the chat also. So,
Yeah.
Probably I want you to spend 2-3 minutes more to explain what actually is Martech. Everybody talks about Martech, but
Sure.
what is all of this world?
Sure. So since students are there, let me give a
Yes,
very,
you have
very
to
simple
explain.
example, right? What is
Yeah.
Martech? So let's take an example that I'm ITC, okay, and I make Ashirwad Atta. Everyone, what is Atta, right? Everyone has Atta in roti. Now I ran an advertisement on Facebook as ITC that please go and buy ITC Atta. You will get a Pepsi free. You saw that digital ad, you loved the ad, and you like that I want to buy ITC Atta for me. What did you do? You didn't buy ITC Atta from ITC website. You went to Big Basket. You went to Big Basket and you bought the Atta, and you said Atta came to your house and you were very happy. You gave 5 rating to Big Basket that you fantastic delivery. The ITC Atta came to your house. ITC guy told you that, look, Mr. Milind, you saw my ad. I spent money on you, and you went to Big Basket and buy. And then you went to Big Basket and told them that, Big Basket, please give me the data of the person who has bought ITC Atta. What does Big Basket say normally? Ideally, it should give the data, right? Because it is my brand that has been bought. Normally, Big Basket will say, get lost. I will not give you the data. Why? Because it is going to launch its own data. own brand of atta tomorrow, right? Now you look at Amazon, right? Amazon has got his own pair of shirts. He's got an own pair of headphones, own pair of uh, all owned by Amazon, right? They will have their own chairs as well. So what is Martech? The Martech is this whole data game that is happening, right? Now, if I've advertised as an ITC, then you go to my website, then I will start recording you that you came to my website. So whenever you guys go onto a website, what do? I accept all the cookies, right? You accept that. Why is that? Has anyone thought why is that? So people are allowed to record cookies, and cookies means that I know what you did on the internet. I don't know if you guys have seen, I know what you did last summer. Similarly, it is like, I know what you did on the internet, but I don't know you as Samir did it or Milind did it. But I know that one person went to my ITC website, then he suddenly got bored and he went to Times of India. Then he came back to ITC website. Then he went to Amazon. That much I know. That is called cookie level data. That cookie level data is being captured by a lot of brands, so that when you are going through this journey on internet or on digital, I will target you when you are the most needed, right? So when you are on Facebook and there is a video recommendation happening, and between two videos, there is some ad coming which is very relevant to you. You get super excited, right? How is that happening? Because someone is just, there is a consumer journey that is there in the physical world, that you got up from your house, went to a retail store, went to 5 shelves and finally bought something. The same journey is happening on internet. You got up, you went to Amazon, you added to cart, you said, I don't like it. You didn't buy it. You went out, you went to some other website, researched about that product. Oh, this product is bad. I'm not making the decision. I will change the decision and then I will go. That journey in the digital world is recorded by something called cookies. And the science of understanding that is called MarTech.
So MarTech is marketing and technology put together?
It's called marketing technology. The word is marketing technology for MarTech. And there are a lot of players who are into this space for a long, long time. So broadly, Samir, if I may answer your question, it is simple. The consumer journey of your on internet, so that I can target you at the right time, is called MarTech. Okay. So and then obviously there is much more deeper work into that, which is around artificial intelligence, which is very deep for this audience, but we will surely have a separate conversation on that.
Sure. So again, related to this, the program which we run at V-School, it's a program which covers films, movies, events, advertising, branding, digital, social media from the management point of view,
Yeah.
And a lot of students and the participants in today's program, which I am seeing, are also, from the business point of view. They are BMM graduates from Bombay, BCom, BSc. So, our idea as a business school at Wellinkers is to give you an entire overall of understanding of the media and entertainment segment, and then you really decide what to go. What you are saying is a pure play tech digital space. Where does the conversion happen? How important is to know the business of advertising, marketing, client side, agency side, and then as they grow in career, how do they converge and at what point they converge?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So there are two parts, right? First part of the question is, we come from a business angle in media and entertainment. Yes. I think that is absolutely required, right? Whether you understand digital, you don't understand digital. The understanding of how media and entertainment as a business works is what I'm sure V-School is providing, right? And that is the step number 1. Step number 2 is what I'm showing you as careers, right? You don't need to be an expert in each of these things, right? But you need to understand that these are the parts which will impact your business understanding of media and entertainment as a business, right? So for example, you are getting movies, production and theater, except you are working more on the production side and the creative side, then it's a different ballgame altogether. But most of you will work in the business of media and entertainment, right?
Yes.
What will happen is when you have some skills, right? All of these businesses which are there, media, entertainment, event management, advertising, will have an interest in going on the businesses which I have shown post-COVID. Okay, so for example, if Sony TV is a media company, their bigger interest right now is what? It is Sony Live.
Yes.
Okay, if there is an event management company, let's say Fountainer is a big event management company, their interest is right now webinars. Dentsu is a big advertising company. Their focus is there on digital.
Okay.
You need to understand advertising. You need to understand media. You need to understand entertainment, and that is why you need to do this course. But
And
you
then
also need to,
also gain insights on these tech areas.
yes, and not tech areas. I would say the future areas as such.
Future areas.
Future areas as such, because while the words are looking tech, but it is more the norm going forward. Samir sir, if I may say, it's
To
not.
acquire
It's not. It's not. It's not tech as such, except Martech, which is a little bit of technology.
technology
But
driven.
everything else is normal business, if I may say. What you also have to understand, right? When you do media and entertainment, you have to see what is the percentage of revenue of media and entertainment that comes from digital. So the first slide that I showed, right, around 33 or 35% of, say, a Sony business. So let's take an example of Disney, right? Disney just invested in Hotstar, which was a very, very massive investment, right? Now, Disney is a pure media company or a pure entertainment company. Disney's biggest investment would be Hotstar and the channel that they are launching. Similarly with HBO. HBO is coming with their own OTT right now, and that will be their bigger. So you need to understand how HBO works. No question on that. But you will, if you have some complementary skills which I have shown here, it will only add to your profile, and it will really give you a very different flavor altogether.
And in fact, what happens many a times, the post completing this PGP media program, people either work on the client side as product managers, brand managers, PR managers, or they go on broadcasters, YouTube, Google, or they go in film companies, Yash Raj and Red Chilies. So they need the business acumen more, but they deal with agencies like yours where they need the technical understanding. So the overall, that is the way they move in the career slowly.
Sure. So just go to the next slide. I've covered some of those questions if that's okay with you.
Oh, wow. Yeah, we'll go to that. Oh, sorry. This one? Super.
Yeah, so this is just an example which you were exactly saying, that while what I'm saying is going to be relevant, but this can be a lot of different careers in digital media.
Yes.
Okay, now, but we will talk of this in the last. Let's go to the last slide where I have some questions answered, and then we can open it up.
Yes.
So this is the question, right? First question: I want to study further. What should I invest in further? What my recommendation is: you take a media and entertainment course. Yes, any course which complements, right? So there are two courses, right? You have to be generalized, and you have to focus a little bit on specialization. So if that answers your question, that you have to be generalist, and you have to also think that within generalization there is an area, so just as you mentioned, right, Red Chilies and movies, and within that area, do I want to specialize? Now, what would be ideal is do a generalized course, because you need to understand the business of business. Within that, you specialize, say, within media and entertainment advertising, and then you just complement with digital, right? So that is how, as a fresher, I would recommend, right?
So true.
Then second is, how do I upskill of what I've learned till now, right? If you are a graduating student from V School who is on this call, and if you are a prospective student, my recommendation is, again, I didn't want to highlight that you have to be a pure digital, right? That's why I said it's taking a short-term course on any of this is fine. But think long-term, right? While you take a 1 month or 2 week course on Udemy or on wherever you want to take, it will help. But certifications will also help, right? There are a lot of certifications that Samir sir is running if they can complement you, but certifications definitely help, right? Why? Because while people will require skills of media and entertainment business as well, but what really happens in business is there is an immediate skill required. So if I'm doing a project and I want an immediate skill, then it becomes easier for me to place you. What new subjects? I don't know if any faculty is on the course, but if
there are. They are.
Okay, so while everyone is talking of AI, ML, and digital, but it is very difficult to just teach on PPT, AI, ML, and digital. To be very honest, a lot of learning should be on real life problems, right? So what we call it a use cases. Why? Because it's not about the future. Future is already different. So it has already arrived. A simple app like Arogya Setu is run by a bot now. So if you go to WhatsApp and you go to Arogya Setu, there is no human being on the other side. It's run by a bot, right? So So future is already different, right? It's not that the future is going to be AI/ML. The future is anyways AI/ML. The present is AI/ML. Now, these are very big words, right? I don't like the words many times, artificial intelligence, machine learning. This is not very complex. This is about applying a very simple logic so that physical intervention becomes zero. It as simple as that, right? So even if I am doing my accounts, and if I can match the debit and the credit side without a physical intervention, you've done little bit of ML and AI. So
Yes.
don't, I would recommend, don't use this word that you need a professor from, biggest university in US to teach you AI. Not really. You can get some of the very good entrepreneurs in India who know AI and ML very well.
Okay.
A lot of people have asked me this question. I don't know, Samir, if they have asked you as well, that should I do internship if there is no pay as well?
Many all the time.
My answer is yes, certainly you should, because there is nothing like learning on ground learning.
Yes.
Most of the concepts that I've told you, especially in our industry, right? And coming back to the last slide, right? You will not learn a lot of things unless you work in an environment which is very, very challenging. So, for example, agency business itself is very, very challenging right now. Now, if you want to join a Dentsu or a Group M tomorrow, which are very large agencies, it's not simple about, we will make creative for you and put it on Facebook and people will like it and you'll get more customers and we know how to do marketing. It doesn't work that way, right? There is a lot of pain that goes while you are on the ground. So if you get an opportunity to intern with anyone, even when it's free, I think you should do it. I would say the other way around, right? Reach out to people and say that I'm ready to work for 2-3 months under you. Please give me an opportunity, right? You will be surprised the way people reply. So, some of the questions. There is a book called "What Got You Here Will Not Get You There," right? By
Yes.
Marshall Goldsmith. I don't know if you read it, but that's exactly what you should all of you be thinking. That we have become MBAs. Then we have to really think how we take it next step. We are a prospective student. Then you should think that what is the best course, and I'm assuming V School being a fantastic school is giving you the right platform as well. And if you are 2-3 years into your career, which are the skills that will complement me within media and industry, that media and entertainment, that will help me. So broadly with that, I've covered 3 or 4 things. That media and entertainment is the future. It's almost a $3 trillion market. India is also growing. So people who are staying in India and are thinking of only abroad of India as their home base for a long time, India is also growing. There are a lot of skills to be acquired to go into this industry. And I'm assuming there are courses which are very, very nice that you can be part of. And the fourth part I would say is, learning, right? That should be a never ending process. There is no harm to learn. How much ever you learn is not enough, right? Because the question, one thing is very, very important, and I'm assuming all the courses are designed that way, is that are you relevant? If you can answer that question, that are you relevant, then broadly, you'll be always relevant for media and entertainment. So broadly, that's what I had. I'm happy to take more questions, Samir sir.
Sure. Yeah, so I'll just stop the screen share and then we go on Q&A. So fantastic, Milind. I think you covered the tech piece and how this is converging into jobs, and it's going to be a very good, learning for all the students and prospective students joining Wellinkar to know that. Also, your insights on, how as faculty members, we also as colleges, and there are many faculty members from Wellinkar and otherwise who are listening to us, they also will have to rethink now what to add in the syllabus and curriculum. That is very important. And there is where, as an endeavor, we try to invite specialist guests like you so that you can address the students and tell them ki, along with the conventional curriculum, which is important, how new things are to be done. Because what happens, many a time students feel I did one course and I'm done for life. And that's not going to happen. And there are many working professionals who are asking questions here. I spent 5 years, 10 years, 14 years in sales, marketing. What do I do next? So, probably you should maybe throw some insights on people who are into, client servicing was a big thing in advertising before, if you remember. Everybody client servicing. Everybody wants to be a brand manager. Also now there are people in the media, advertising, and generally sales fraternity
Yeah.
they also have to learn something new, because I don't think there is going to be great jobs only in physical sales, in the
Yeah.
traditional businesses.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what you would like to say before we come to questions now? I wanted you to spend 2-3 minutes to tell something to the working people how they upgrade now.
So, so look, especially people who have taken and started a career just recently, for them, my suggestion is, if you feel that this role or this industry is not going to go, it's never a bad start. Say you work 3 years, it's never a bad idea to reboot. Okay, so just to give you an example, say if you've done a bachelor's in commerce, or and then you worked for 3 years in a very small firm. It is, and then you are not feeling that this is going to take you anywhere further, right? It's not a bad idea to reboot, and it is not a bad idea to reboot with the right course. Okay, now whether that course is from Elinkar or a good management school, it's not a bad idea. I have seen a lot of people who have worked for 10 years and have rebooted their careers.
Yes.
So first is people who are already into something which is, I wouldn't say futuristic, but let's take a very old example, an accountant. Say if you are in an accounting firm, and if that is not the future of future as such, then it is not a very bad idea to reboot. The best way to reboot is join a management school, or take a course or whatever, right? So that is the first point I would like to mention. Second is those people who can't reboot, right? They said that we can't reboot and we don't have the skills to acquire digital, or the skills to get into media and entertainment as a business. I would strongly suggest have a mentorship route, right? Talk with 3 or 4 mentors and tell them where I'm heading. So one rule that I have applied in my life is I have always had mentors who have always told me that this is the way to go about it and you are going on the wrong path. The rule is, I think a lot of working professionals have a problem that, there is a saying that don't worry about the destination, worry about the journey.
Yeah.
Okay, but you also have to even think whether even you are on the journey or not. So you are supposed to go from Churchgate to Virar, but you caught a harbor line, then you are not on the journey itself, right? So within 3-4 years, you have to really think whether you are on the journey or not. And the third most important thing is, why always think from an employer perspective, that why I am paying you, right? Am I paying you for? You can only do 2 things for me, right? Either you can bring me revenue as an employee, or either you can help me build my brand. There is no other third thing, or you can help me reduce cost. If you're not doing any of the three and you don't have any skills around these 3 areas, then why would an employer require you? So if you are a manufacturing guy, then obviously you are hired as a manufacturing guy to reduce cost. If you are a marketing guy, you've been obviously hired to increase revenue. And if you are neither of the two, I've deployed you so that you build my brand. So think very clearly that, do I have skills in either of the 3 areas? If I don't have, right, I mean, you have to go down, right? Like HR, for example, is around building brand, or building the culture of the company, right? Marketing is and sales is doing revenue, and manufacturing and operation is reducing cost eventually. If I'm not having skills around this 3 areas in the next 5-6 years, I should always rethink of rebooting. And absolutely no bad time to reboot, right? I've seen people with 20 years of work ex who've rebooted and then also come back to a scale where people were not there at all. So, Samir, I recommendation would be think of rebooting if you've been into
Yes.
think you are relevant on these 3 parameters.
Okay.
And third is, I think just focus on the learning part of it, right? And it really plays out in the long term.
So true. In fact, a lot of people in the media entertainment industry, in agency businesses,
Yeah.
lot of their jobs are also going to be irrelevant in this
Yeah.
post-COVID days.
Yes.
I
Yes.
think it is time for them to take a pause and really, because they have experience in the industry, I think they should have higher level of post-grad skills and come back again in the industry.
Correct.
Adding
Correct.
to that now, Milind, there is one more question which is coming in from students who are graduating this year. Ki, is it okay if I am a commerce, arts, BMM, BMS, engineering students? Do I have place in the media entertainment industry? And will this kind of a course from B school? And generally, am I eligible for all of this?
The answer, if you had asked me 10 years back, I would say no. Now, yes.
Okay.
Now there is, in fact, your undergraduation is relevant, but it will never be an hindrance for someone to give you an offer
Okay.
in this industry, right? Essentially, what is happening, right? And why do I say that? You are a commerce student and you want to do a media and entertainment course. Absolutely, you should do it. In my time, right? People used to take science as the first choice, and then people were the most dumbest to arts. Now I've realized that people are taking more arts and they're less science, right? Uh,
Yes.
the point is not what you've done as an undergraduation, right? The point
Hmm.
would be what you know in the last 2-3 years that you've learned. It is like saying that what do I know in 10th standard in physics? That's not a recruitment question, right? Do you know the
Yes.
law of gravity? uh, After you do your BCom, which or your BMS or whatever, you've got good enough analytical skills, which I'm happy to look at, right? Because I
Hmm.
want a graduate, and that is my company policy. But
Hmm.
what I'm really looking at it is what you've learned in the last 2 years,
So
and what that last 2 years is going to be relevant for my firm to help my firm grow. So I would absolutely say, no worries. You must go if you have a passion and you like this industry. However, please be careful. Media and entertainment doesn't mean only glamour. Okay, so
yes.
there is a thin line that I want to draw. I have zero glamour, so there it doesn't mean that you will go and meet a hero heroine every day and you will work with TV channels. That's all. That's not even 3% of the business. Okay, 97 of the percent business is a desk job, is a pure job that I'm doing. So just remove the, if you are going to an industry because you feel it's very glamorous, the answer is no. Let me be very honest, right? All the except 1 or 2% of movie stars, 98% of them make very less money, or few of them are bankrupt as well. So don't go by glamour. My recommendation is not a glamorous the way it looks from outside. It is a very, very serious business. It is a very, very intensive business, and there are a lot of other careers besides movies and acting and all that. The short answer is yes. There is no requirement in, at least in my firm, that you need to be a bachelor of arts or a mass media. You can be a bachelor of commerce. You can take a course from Wellinkers, and we will be able to give you a career if you are relevant for the job.
Very nice. Milind, would you like to just screen through the Q&A session and pick up a few questions from there? Also, participants, those who want to ask a question live related to this topic, raise your hands. I will take a few questions and I'll take you live online. Yeah, Milind,
Sure.
you can also.
Where can I see the Q&A? I'm sorry, I can't
Oh,
see it.
there is a Q&A, the button down there below the screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chat, in the chat. Okay.
No. Q&A section.
Yeah. Okay. I got it. 22 questions.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll try to answer.
Take
What
whichever
is
you
the
like.
package like for freshers after you complete the course? I
What?
will avoid that answer, Samir, if that's okay. But
Yeah. You take relevant too because participants, friends, we will ask Milind sir questions where he can answer you better about the career sector prospects. I understand you have questions about how to apply, what is the admission date, what is the fee structure, all that we will answer later on. Maybe you can write to us, check on our website, but let's ask Milind sir some questions where we will learn something from him. About the Wellinkar program, we can speak later also.
correct. I am an engineer. I don't have any background of media and entertainment. I don't have any, there is no campus placement as well. So what is the probability? Uh, After the completion of the course, again, Samir, I leave that question to you.
Yeah. Okay, Milind, I
Uh,
will ask. I have also scanned the question to the engineer's question and otherwise also. What question many a times people are basically asking, they are not expressing it. Let me express them for you. They are saying now we are completing our graduation,
yeah,
okay, in this month. There are no campus and jobs available.
yeah.
Is this the right time to study? And will I get a job after the program? That is what they're asking. Is this the time now to take up a job if they get one, or is this the time to study? Either the Wellinkar program or otherwise. That is what they want to ask basically. What does
Uh,
freshers do?
yeah, I think it really depends on you, but I would strongly recommend that it is very difficult to take a job and then go back to study, right? My advice has always been that unless you do a very senior executive course, my advice would be that you should learn as much as you can in this age, because then you have other responsibility of marriage, children, so on and so forth, where you can definitely take an executive course later in your life.
Sure.
But my recommendation would be that you finish at least a post graduation right now, financially, if that works for you, and then apply for a job. And then after 7, 8, 10 years, you may want to think of an executive course. But I would not recommend, taking a job for 2 years and then doing an MBA or a course. It depends, right? There are some unique cases where you can do. But if your choice to do it directly, I would recommend yes, do it right now.
And also keeping in mind, challenging times ahead of us,
Yeah,
getting jobs or internships is going to be difficult for everybody in the next few
correct,
months. What
correct.
do you do if you don't do a job? Not you don't have a job on hand, you don't have internships. It's the best time to study now. Complete a program, whichever is of your
Yes,
choice. And by
yes,
next year, you are in the market, you are prepared and better equipped than the others.
yes, yes. I
So
agree with
I
you.
think
This is
that
the time to learn.
this is the
I
time to
don't
learn.
be. Don't be upset for what has happened with
Yeah.
COVID, right? So I know a lot of students have suffered and are very anxious. But I think, look, I think this is not something that anyone predicted in the world. Okay, not
Yes.
even the best businessman in the world predicted this. So my advice is, this is the right time to learn. We have to keep the positive attitude going, and if possibly spend as much time on learning, because there is going to be recovery. Now the question is whether it will be a V-shaped recovery or a U-shaped recovery. And what does recovery essentially mean? Means more jobs, more people required, right? So,
Yes.
I would definitely agree with you, Samir. There's the right time to study. I mean, there's no need to be negative about what has happened.
So
Uh,
true.
Obviously, we have to be safe and keep the
And
distance.
also, I always, while our in our counseling sessions, also we keep telling students at Yangpo also, boss, you are studying not for the first job or the first year. You are studying for a career.
Yeah,
Initially, you may not get a job after doing a program from IIM Ahmedabad also. But it takes time. But there is a knowledge, and then you have to apply and struggle, and then get into the corporate world. It's not easy, right? To get into
sure,
a Densu just by doing a program somewhere, you can't make it.
sure.
So yeah, you have to study and upgrade. That's the idea. So
Yeah.
I'm just reading a question. I want to go with advertising. What advice or experience you can share with us? Because
Uh,
youngsters usually feel marketing means advertising, very clearly, Milind.
Acha, okay.
Yeah.
So, so advertising, there are two parts, right? One is you join the industry as an advertising professional, which is normally under the CMO, and which is the role of the CMO,
Hmm.
or you join an agency. So what do you call an agency? You are also called service providers. Uh,
Yes.
so within agencies, there are agencies which are brand agencies. So basically, uh, there are agencies who are only focused on ensuring that the brand is developed. So when I say brand, for example, Tata brand, right?
Hmm.
The agency focus is to ensure that you get a recall value of the Tata brand again and again, right? So these are called brand agencies. Then there are digital agencies which are only focused on doing advertising in digital, like on Facebook, Google, so on and so forth. And then there are mixed agencies who do brand work as well as digital work. And then within those agencies, there are agencies who are only focused on outdoor, which is basically advertising on the outdoor channels, what you show as billboards and TV and all that. And then there are event management companies, right? And the latest one that is happening within agencies is something called data-driven marketing. So how do the slides that I showed? There are a lot of companies that are only focused on driving data for better advertising. So this is
Okay.
the services side of the business. Then there is the product side of the business, right? So companies like Adobe, companies like Salesforce, these are essentially companies who are focused on advertising slash marketing.
Yes.
Even Oracle, right? So you have future in that as well. Obviously, they will teach you how to use the product as well. And then there is business. Then there is a role within the marketing function of the industry itself. So if there is a company like Reliance, they would have their marketing business, and within the marketing, they would have advertising business as well. So multiple areas that you can go off. There are a lot of places where you can also start your own agency, right? And a lot of young students have started their own agencies where they help to do advertising for a small firm and big firm. So that is another area. But mainly brand, digital, and physical agencies is what advertising works. And then there is on the brand side, which is you are part of the CMO team.
Business.
Normally, CMO owns the advertising budget as well.
So true. So there's a huge scope even if somebody looks at advertising as a career.
Yeah, even even within consulting companies also there is a scope for advertising business. So like a McKinsey or a BCG would have something called their interactive business, which is mainly focused on. So basically, what is advertising is to push a product which is not getting sold, right?
So true.
Or which is difficult to sell without word of mouth. That is the basic fundamental of advertising or marketing, right? So mostly all businesses would require it, and then there would be consulting companies as well who would require creative people, who would require people who are understanding of user journeys, customer journeys, because a lot of consulting companies have to work on that area as well. So there are multiple areas where advertising business can fall in, and it can be a subset of marketing or it can be a different business as well.
So true. In fact, the idea to do a business management program in media and entertainment is to give the integrated view, so you can be in any vertical where the consumer is spending money. It could be even sports management business, like how Dentsu is so big in the coming Olympic, entire ecosystem is going to work around that.
So
that is the idea, to give the business angle, merge it with the creative angle. Yeah. So we take last one question. Anybody has a question, raise the hand. I will take you live. Yeah. Preeti Singh, you have a question? Okay, I can see your Preeti Singh. Preeti, I will take you live. Ask your question. Go ahead. Preeti, go ahead. You can unmute yourself, Preeti. Preeti, go ahead. Preeti, you have a question you can ask. You have to ask. We'll go to the next one. Sorry, Preeti, for that. Manan Singh. Manan, go ahead and ask your question.
Yes, sir. Actually, I wanted to ask, in another year, is there any scope in the fields of management with the companies go in loss, or we should join any company in the field of management?
No, didn't get your question actually. What is your background? Tell Manan. What are you doing today?
No, like I'm doing BMS right now.
Okay.
So I'm thinking to join a company in the field of management.
Very good.
So I'm thinking, would it be good to join the company, or rather I should study more and then go in a company?
Simple answer again. Do you have a job in a company which is satisfying enough? If you have a job, then you can go for that. But ideal situation as of now is you complete your post-graduation education, equip yourself, because as a BMS graduate, what value addition will you do to a company and why will they take you in management, right? If you have some specialized skill, as like what Milind sir said, then you have a better chance of getting a better job in a year's time when things start improving. Milind, am I right on that?
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. Having a BMS, in my view, is not enough
getting a good job.
For going to a job.
Unless it's your own father's company, so you can join there.
Yeah.
But also you won't be able to add much value. The idea is that you have to add value because they pay you salary.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. So doing a job now makes the difference. Yeah. So one last question, Prajakta. Prajakta, last question from your side. Others can please write on info@yangpo.com and we will send those questions to Milind sir and then we will try to take his help to answer them. Yeah. 1 second. Prajakta, go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Prajakta.
Yeah. Sir, so I have graduated doing BMS back in 2018. I have worked for a year in agency, and currently I am I am an MBA aspirant. I'm waiting for my results. So I'm confused. So should I go for an MBA doing marketing, or should I go for a specialization that is media and entertainment? Because I do have a keen interest in social media marketing, digital marketing. I do freelancing as well. So I'm afraid in few years will this industry saturate, or these jobs will saturate. I really want to know if in digital marketing, in 10 years from now, will we have more jobs in this sector, or it will just saturate?
Now I'll answer that, Samir sir.
Yeah, please.
So it's a very simple answer, Prajakta.
Yes, sir.
What is the rate of people who were on Instagram last year and that they were this year?
Sir, around 3.5 billion people are on
Correct.
social media.
What is the population of the world?
Uh, I am not very sure about the number.
Around 5.5, 6 billion people.
Yes, sir.
So out of the 50% are on social right now.
Correct.
What is the question of even saturation? Even if they stay, there is enough hope for it, right?
Correct.
Even if it doesn't saturate, half of the world is on social media now, and half of the world is doing Instagram and Facebook. So now you look at it that perspective. Is there any scope of saturation? It can only improve from here, right?
Only improve.
Correct.
So there will be a new platform tomorrow. TikTok was not there till last year, 2 years back. Now TikTok is there. InShorts was not there. Now InShorts is there. Facebook will go away. Maybe something else will come. Instagram, no one was looking, and when people started, Facebook was there. But what happened in Facebook? You started as a young person on Facebook. Now I'm assuming you don't go on Facebook, and you go more on Instagram. But what has happened is Facebook died. Your mother and father go to Facebook more now, right?
Correct.
Yes.
So it will change. But is there a potential? The answer is absolutely yes.
Correct.
There is no. It's not because the industry. There is no choice. Because the way we are moving, right, the only thing that we don't have is time, right? So we want to do everything fast. You order from e-commerce because you want luxury of time and convenience. Similarly, for all platforms, the digital is not going to die down, right? It will only become much and much more automated. It will be like I'll be able to give my order on Amazon and get the order without even pressing a single button. But that's still digital, right?
Correct. So one more doubt, can I just ask you? It's very short.
Yeah. Please go ahead.
So AI is currently boosting now the jobs in the AI sector. So I am from the commerce background. I have not done engineering or somewhere around the software industry. I don't belong from there. So commerce student, can we take up AI in the future?
What is your understanding of AI?
It's basically intelligent mechanism that does work like humans, used for planning, execution, and other work.
So there are two parts, right? One is the technology part of AI, which obviously you need a background of engineering and software development.
Okay.
Then there is the business of use cases of AI, which is basically saying that I understand within marketing, this is what an AI can do. So obviously you cannot become a product developer, but obviously you can become a business owner from some of the AI, right? Becoming a product developer is not possible because you are a BCom student. A software engineer is more prone to do that. But that doesn't mean that you cannot understand the business of AI. That is still possible, right?
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Great.
Thanks, Prajakta.
Yeah. Thank you, Prajakta. So Milind sir, thanks a lot for such an amazing insight on how the world of media entertainment is going to change. Where are these opportunities for these youngsters, and what education is like us need to now incorporate in our syllabuses so we make our students and our programs more relevant to service the corporates like you all. So thank you once again, and thank you Wellinger Institute of Management for organizing such kind of events so that the students and the student community at large benefits from this. See you soon with our next episode in the coming week. We'll keep you posted. Thank you very much, and thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Samir.